When will this go all away?
No one cleans like Gaston, quarantines like Gaston. No one stops spreading COVID-19 like Gaston.
I'm especially good at self-isolating.
My, what a guy, that Gaston!
Coronavirus deaths in this country.
COVID-19, a new disease. What can we do? Which store is best to go? How about Costco? We need to stock our TP.
Wash your hands, wash your hands, stay inside. The rules demand. It's been days since we've had any contact now, and we're all mad.
Shop for your basic house groceries, your weekly food and toiletries. Don't go around and fill up your whole cart. Yes, sir. Shop for your basic house groceries, your weekly food and toiletries, and everything is gonna be alright. I am quarantined. I can social distance. I don't care how far. It won't be that long. Wash your hands with tile. It'll be worth your while. I cannot go anywhere, so guess I'll play ping pong. Let's all social distance to defeat this one. Quarantine's a bother. It is just no fun. Don't let friends in. Keep things real clean. Stay inside, 'cause we're under quarantine. Conceal, don't feel. Order to go. Get food to go. Just stay home. Just stay home. Can't go outside anymore. Just stay home. Just stay home. All your plans are now no more. It's not fair. I had plans today. Turn your Netflix on. COVID needs to go away right away. I've got hand wipes and hand soaps aplenty. I've got Purell and latex galore. You want toilet paper rolls? I've got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. Can't go on walks. Can't go have fun. If someone coughs, then I'm gonna run. Wandering free. Something unseen. COVID-19.
God, that is the freakiest face I've ever seen.
What's up, Big Night? We're so glad that you joined us tonight. Hey, I want you to text all your friends and tell them to get on right now. Go outside and shout to everybody that we're on right now. Hey, we're on right now.
Okay, so we have 75 subscribers as of right now on our YouTube channel. So we told you guys if we get to 100,
100.
we will do a few dares,
100.
depending on what you guys want to do. So
Yes.
dare 1, I can shave Pastor T's legs, which is gross.
Well, I wanted to do
It's not
this. I showed my legs.
just-
Were you able to see my leg?
Dare 2, our little girl can apply makeover, Pastor T. And the third one, we can do a peanut butter mask on Pastor T's face. And last week we forgot to mention that we have a dachshund who loves peanut butter. So it would be super funny. We could
Oh,
he could lick it
that's
off.
disgusting.
That'd be like a
I'm gonna get
facial
like
or
some
something.
bacterial disease or something like that if we do that. That's nasty. That is so disgusting. But we got to get to 100, so go on there, subscribe if you haven't already
Tell
done
your
that.
friends if your friend hasn't done
But
it.
if
tell
you
them.
don't want me to do anything and you just, then don't subscribe at all. But we're trying to get to 100. 100. Miss Lauren, I know for a fact that we have some birthdays to announce, don't we? Yay for all the birthdays! Yay!
Happy birthday to Tommy Burkhammer,
Tommy Burkhammer, happy birthday!
David Clausell,
David Claudel, happy birthday!
and Hope Doan.
Hope Doan, happy birthday! Yay for all the birthdays! Okay.
All right, so last week we delivered pizza to a few students who won the giveaway.
Yes.
So we're gonna do the same thing this week. So make sure you stay on with us, and we'll do the pizza giveaway at the end.
The pizza winners from last week was Jonathan Matthews, Braden and Jordan Tompkins, and the whole Wormers family. So y'all won pizza last week, so make sure you stay on this week, stay on for the entire time, because at the end of our discussion, we will give 3 more pizzas away to 3 more lucky winners. So make sure.
it might be you.
And it might be you. So when you get on, type your name in, because sometimes we don't know your user's name. If you're like the Dragon Slayer, we don't know who you are.
Get
we
the
want
Dragon Slayer.
we want your name. So get on there, type your name in, and we'll put you in, and you may be the lucky winner for a pizza.
So we are still going on Zoom this Thursday, 2:30. Last week
We
weren't
did
able
not
to do
get
it.
on. We forgot.
Stop.
But we're gonna give you what?
the crap! Don't tell them we forgot.
What did we did?
All right, on Thursdays at 2:30, we will be on Zoom with you guys. So
Yeah, because last week we forgot. So this week, get on. We want to see your lovely faces. And if you get on, we're going to give you a free box of Pop-Tarts this week. Because we will actually be on Zoom.
Oh my
So
God.
if you need the contact ID number or whatever
Let us
like that, let us know. Email us, text us, whatever, so you can be on. And I know for a fact we need to recognize some of our seniors.
Stop. If you say no for a fact one more time, that's like the 5th time you said, I know for a fact. Yes, we know you know.
I know everything. And it's a
For
fact.
All right, we want to recognize some high school seniors, Innick and Knight.
We're so glad that you're graduating this year, even though this year wasn't like a very good year. But we still want to acknowledge you. So we have our high school seniors are Michaela Hart,
And Luke Miller,
Ann Lee Miller,
Haley Coons,
Logan Johnson,
Caitlin Rogers,
Max Peters,
Jonathan Britt,
David Clausell.
and Shayna Hendricks.
All right, Lauren Rogers.
Thanks.
Congratulations. We're so happy for you guys. We're so glad that you have graduated. Congratulations for your 12 hard years. But we're so glad that you used all that time to get so much knowledge in your brain.
smart.
You're so smart. All right, guys, we're so glad that you clicked on tonight. Make sure you stay with us after my lesson. We're going to go into our discussion time where you can type in your thoughts and ideas and things you want to talk about, things that we're going to go over tonight. So make sure you stay on, and we'll see you then.
Now let's get ready for Slow Mo Wednesday. No! Okay.
Hey guys, I want you to right now think of your most fun friend. I mean, just get a picture of them in your mind right now. What friend you think is like the craziest? Because maybe your fun friend is always, cracking jokes or doing crazy stuff or playing pranks and making everybody laugh so hard that they're just, they're gasping for air because of what they did is so funny. And they're not really making fun of people. They're just making sure that everyone around them is having fun all the time. I'm guessing you probably have a friend like that. Someone that has a huge effect on people around them, whether they know it or not. And maybe you know somebody that is so fun to be around that everybody wants to hang out with them. Or this person is so nice that they literally make you want to be a nicer person. Or work so hard that his or her teammates work harder because of them. Or maybe it's like total opposite. I mean, you know somebody that is just, so mean to other people always. It makes you feel like you're on the edge when you're around them. Or always ticked off by something so that, it brings the mood and everyone around them just down. Or they're just so loud that people literally have to shout to talk over them. The whole room gets louder because, they're there. Whether it's a good thing or not so good thing, here's what's true about nearly everybody that has a significant effect on the people around them. They don't really think about it. They either don't realize that they have an effect, or they haven't put the thought into how they could use it. That's what makes this series so interesting and so tricky. For the next few weeks, we're going to talk about the you effect and how you affect the people and the situations around you. In other words, we're talking about influence. For some of you, your influence is obvious. Maybe you hold some type of leadership position, either at your church or at your school, or you have friends and you understand people listen to you and almost always take your, opinion seriously. Whether it's about something serious like who your friend should date, to something random like, what is your favorite Avenger that you think is the best? Now, personally, I like Thor, but Iron Man may be yours, so you can argue that. On the other hand, some of you may say, I don't affect or have an impact or influence on anyone. The me effect is at 0. The only person I influence over in my family is my dog. And even he ignores me, at sometimes. People don't go anywhere or do anything because of me. I'm not an influencer, at all. And I don't really want to be. Either way, that's totally normal. The truth is, no matter what you or I think about influence, it's possible. Even probably that we don't realize how much you affect or me affect there really is, or what could happen because of it. We're going to look at someone who used what they had to affect others, even though they didn't have very much. When Jesus traveled around in his 3 years of ministry, crowds almost always followed. It could have been because they heard about Jesus, wanting to heal people and they wanted healing for themselves, or they were just curious. But whatever the reason, Jesus had a lot of influence and people were always around him. Sometime after this, Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, and a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the sign and he had performed by healing the sick. Then Jesus went up on a mountainside and sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover festival was near at this time in Jesus' time. When Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming towards him, he said to Philip, one of his disciples, "Where shall we buy bread for all these people to eat?" He asked this only to test him, for he already had in mind, Jesus already had in mind what he was going to do. And this is in John chapter 6, verses 1 through 6. Imagine this scene. A large crowd has gathered to see the great miracle worker, what we call as the 5,000. Where they're going to see Jesus and what Jesus will do. He asked one of his disciples, Philip, what shall they do? Philip answered him, "It would take more than a half of year's wages to buy enough bread for each one to have a bite," in John chapter 6, verse 7. In other words, you've got to be kidding me. If you're going to feed everyone, like 5,000 people, there better be someone with a lot of cash around them to make this happen. I mean, imagine this. Sending someone to McDonald's to order 5,000 Big Mac combos. That'd be crazy. I mean, right? So another of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. He said, "Here's a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fishes. But how far will that go among so many?" in John chapter 6, verses 8 through 9. And that's when Jesus went to work. The Bible says, Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." There was plenty of grass in that place, and they all sat down. There was plenty of space out there. About 5,000 men were there, not including the women and the children. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed it to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. They had all they had need of. They had enough to eat. He said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted." So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 loaves of bread left over by those who had eaten. After the people saw the sign that Jesus performed, they began to say, "Surely this is a prophet who has come into the world." In John chapter 6, verses 10 through 14, you can read about it. But here's maybe the most important question we could ask about this story. Who had the biggest impact in this passage? I mean, it's easy to say and to see that Jesus had influence, a lot of it. I mean, by the end of this account, a large crowd was calling him a prophet because of the miracles that he had performed. And then there's the disciples. I mean, they were impactful just by associating themselves with Jesus. But the real superstar of this story may not be who you think it might be. And the answer is, it's the boy with his lunch. The truth is, it wasn't the amount of what he had that allowed him to make a difference. It was his willingness to use what he had that made him such an influencer. I bet this kid and everyone around this kid never thought influence like this would be a part of his story. You know, it didn't matter that, he didn't take the stage, or he wasn't well known or in a, position of leadership. He wasn't a speaker or a preacher. He wasn't super athletic or popular or academically, smart. He wasn't cool or interesting enough that the writer would tell us his name. Can you imagine how the conversation went with his mother that day when he got home that afternoon? The story could have gone, "Mom, there were thousands of people out there, and they picked me, the lunch you packed for me, to feed all these people." No one, not even his mom, could have imagined things going that way. But they did, and thousands of years later, we're still telling his story. Jesus wasn't looking for any of that. The only thing that mattered was that the boy brought all that he had, and it was enough. Because ultimately, this was about the power of Jesus and what Jesus was capable of doing through someone who was willing to be used to offer what he had. When it comes to you affecting the world around you, it's all about you being willing to show up and offer what you have. But before that's possible, you have to recognize this. You have more of an effect than you think. Imagine if the little boy listened to Jesus teach, believed he could have no effect on the situation. There would be no story to tell. The way we see influence needs to change. In other words, having an impact isn't about doing more or having more or knowing, more people. Just imagine what God could do with the you effect in the world around you. It's about choosing to believe even when it seems unbelievable, that you have an effect on your friend group and who you're around. You have an effect on your section of your band that you're in. You have an effect on your teammates in the sports that you play in. You have an effect on possibly your siblings. You also have an effect on your classmates. As you think about it, here are a few steps to consider. Number 1, identify the who. Who are the immediate people in front of you that you have the potential to influence? Who are the people closest to you? Maybe it's your siblings, a friend, a teammate, or other people in your family. Identify the who. Number 2, identify the what. So what is that the people around you need? Is it the encouragement or the time? Someone to listen, someone to help them with their homework. And then lastly, number 3, identify what you can do to help and then do it. So before we end tonight and before we go into our discussion time, I want you to think about a person in your life who has had affected you in a positive way. What was it about them that allowed them to have an impact on you? How did their influence impact your life for the good? In some way that others have had an effect on you, you have the same ability to have an effect on other people. Because the people you're around have an effect on you, you have an effect on them. Maybe more than you think. The question to ask yourself isn't, do I have an ability to impact others? Instead, the question should be, how will I use the influence that I already have to affect other people? Ultimately, God is the one who has the power to change people. All you have to do is show up, offer what you have, and let Him do the rest. Hey, I hope this encourages you. Let me let you know that, listen, everyone that you come in contact with, whether it's in your own family or your brother or your sister, or people that you meet outside, what you say and what you do can have a huge effect on other people. Hey, we're about to go into our discussion time, so I want you to get ready to, write down or to chat. Let us know your thoughts and ideas about what we're going to talk to you about. So get ready. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Are we live right now? Awesome. Fantastic. Wow, I'm really live. This is great. So everyone who's watching us via, no, that was good. I mean, I felt good being a little powerful. I'm so glad that all of you that are watching right now, I'm so glad that you clicked on. Again, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you put your name in, because at the end of the night we're gonna have a drawing. So again, if you have Dragon Slayer as your name, we want to know who you actually are. So your first name, last name. If you're watching, and you can also watch this on Instagram, text somebody right now to get on right now, because tonight I'm very, very excited that tonight, now that we're in phase 1 of this thing, now I can have an actual panel. But right now they're empty seats, so I'm about to introduce you my students who are going to be on with us live tonight. So we're going to start out with some juniors tonight. Some juniors that are here, so I want you to give it up for Madison Snowden right now. Yay, Madison! Woo! All right. So Madison, come here. And for our other junior, I want you to give it for Tommy Berkhammer tonight. Yeah, Tommy! All right. Fantastic. So we got some juniors that are up here tonight that are going to be soon to become seniors, but we got some seniors that are going to sit on this side of the room tonight. So I want you to give it up for Caitlin Rogers tonight. Woo! Yeah! Awesome. And then our last senior who's going to be here tonight is David Clausel. Yeah! We thought it would be fun to introduce them so they can come in and do something really, really cool. So, these are our juniors soon to become seniors, and then seniors that are going to be at some point leaving Ignite Student Ministries, which is so sad. But we want to get on tonight and just talk a little bit and discuss about some things, some questions that I'm going to ask you, and you just, I don't know, feel free to just jump in wherever you feel. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And you have to talk, okay? You have to talk.
I will.
Okay. Okay. No, we're just going to make this very, very natural. So really, really cool. Okay. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to start with some of these questions, and then I'm going to interject some questions that you, as a senior, could say to a junior or a junior, you know, how you feel about this whole thing that's going on. But tonight, though, for all of you that are watching, you should have seen it that I talked about the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 and how the boy had an influence, even though he wasn't a well-known person, he had influence. So what I want to do, I just want to go around the entire circle. We can start with the juniors here, and then work our way to the seniors. But I'm going to ask you a question, though, and then you just give me your opinion on what you feel like, you know, how to answer that. So here we go. And this is just a simple, easy one. What do you think of when you hear the word influence? What pops into your mind when you hear the word influence?
When I hear the word influence, what comes to mind is someone who, kind of like a role model, someone who might have raised you, or, you know, someone who might have been there for a long period in your life, someone who's been there definitely from like 12, 13, because that's when you kind of start, you know, getting your own opinions and thoughts, and someone who's just kind of with you until you're your own person.
Oh,
Cool.
okay. Just keep going.
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
Madison.
I think an influence is someone or even something that causes you to change your behavior or your outlook on life. I mean, it could be internal or external, how it influences you, but yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. I have to use this corded mic now from Madison because y'all can't hear me through the other one. So now you can hear me. So I'm so glad that you can hear me now. So I talked to them about what do you think of you know, what pops into your head when you think about the word influence. That's kind of like what I'm doing. So Caitlin, what do you think about when you hear the word, you know, influence? What pops into your mind?
Mine?
Yeah, just talk.
I think of like what Tommy said, like the role model, kind of,
The role model?
and like someone you want to look up to, I guess. So
Okay. It's very simple. It's just whatever you think. Come on, David. What do you think when you hear that?
Mine would have to be character. When I think of influence, I think of character, like whoever like affects the way you act, stuff like that. So it's really simple.
Yeah. I mean, you can type on there, you know, right now, for those of you watching, just get on there and chat right now. I mean, what do you think, you know, what do you think of when you hear the word influence to you? 'Cause I mean, you heard others, you know, their character, you know, someone you look up to, someone who's a role model and everything like that. It's just really your own opinion of what you think the word influence is. I think whoever that person is, that is, you know, pretty much is either all in your life or is even a big part of your life. I think that someone who is an influence in your life has a huge part to play in your life. I think it affects the way you act and what you do and how you say things because they are so in your life. I mean, that person is so into what you do and everything like that. So that's what I think an influencer is. So, okay, let me ask another question. I'll hand this back to you when you get time, okay? Just so they can hear me. How do you know when you're being influenced by someone else? How do you know when you are being influenced by someone else?
I feel like sometimes you might not always know. You know, like it might take a while for you to notice the changes that are happening in yourself. Whether it's like something that happens in your thinking and how you feel, or if it's something that happens externally, like how you dress, you know, which way you walk down the hallway, simple stuff like that. But I think you start to notice it like after a while, you know, because at first this stuff is like so routine to you, you know, you're probably doing it with the person that's influencing you. But eventually you kind of realize like, this isn't what I used to do. I've changed, you know, I've been influenced. into whatever this new thing is.
I think when you have a new influence brought into your life, it's like you start to notice little internal conflicts you have. Like Tommy was saying, you used to do something, but then you go to do that thing and you're like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this instead. Or, I don't know, you'll want to say something, but you don't say it for some reason. You know? You just change the way you act or speak.
I'm going to read the question again. How do you know when you are being influenced by someone else? If you don't know, we'll go to David, and then we can come back to you. How's that?
I'm just gonna say maybe like someone tells you like you're acting different, maybe, and like they can see that someone influenced you, and maybe in a good way.
Kind of what they said, they hit it on the spot, your actions and like just the way you have your character out towards other people. I mean, it's pretty much like that.
Let me take this back. We are having to share because y'all can't hear me with the other mic that I have. So you're probably wondering, why is he grabbing Madison's mic? So that's the reason why I'm grabbing Madison's mic. So if Madison attacks me, please call 911. Okay, all right. So, but get online right now. Do we have anybody who's chatting with us right now? How do you know when you are being influenced by someone else? Give me something that somebody says. Oh, that's good, Cassidy. That's good. Well, I gotta have my phone for the questions. So is somebody else, or is that the only one? Who's that? Cassidy's very lively tonight. Yes. Way to go, Cassidy. Way to go. Way to go. Also, tonight, guys, as we're going through this, send in your prayer request because we will pray at the end of the service tonight. So make sure you type in your prayer request if you've got one and send it in to us at the end of the night. We'll pray over it, and then we'll do the drawing. So also, whatever your username is, if we don't know who you are, please type your first and last name in so we can put it in the bucket and draw 3 lucky winners tonight for 3 free pizzas that me and Miss Lauren will deliver to your house. So that way we can see you. So put your name in there. Okay. Another question, and those of you that are watching right now, chat online about whatever our questions are. So here's another question right here. And what are some reasons we may think that we do not have the ability to affect the lives of others? How do you think in the way we do things that we don't have the ability to affect others' lives? How about we do it this way? Does that make sense to y'all? How do we think that we don't have the ability to affect someone else? David, let's actually start with you for this one right now. What do you think?
I would have to say age. A lot of people feel like you got to be older. Because, I can get that. Because, you're going to have the wise guy, old people don't want to take advice from the younger people. But, there's actually younger people out there that actually could tell, I look at the story in the Bible, how Jesus, not saying we Jesus or nothing, but, he was real little, but he was still preaching to all the other people and the elders and stuff like that. So I feel like we could be like that too. We all learn in different ways. So. Yeah. Go ahead, Caitlin.
I was trying to think, but mine was kind of like
You want to come back? Okay. Go ahead, Madison. Or Tommy, you go ahead. I don't know. I think David just answered everybody's right there.
I was pulling up the live stream, so I didn't really hear the question.
Okay, so the question really was, what are some reasons we may think that we don't have the ability to affect others in our lives? So,
a big reason that a lot of people think, like David said, is age, because a lot of people think oh, I'm young, I can't do this, I can't do that, why should I be able to influence people? But, I think a big thing is, once we get past that, you can be an influencer to, anyone. Kids at your school, people you just see randomly. If you're walking around downtown Pensacola with your family, you know, you can always just like, you know, if you see someone, homeless people, you could just give them a few dollars, something to eat, and be like, hey, God loves you, you know? And it's just something as simple as that and small, you know, can influence someone, you know, because sometimes they might not take it well, but there's always that chance that they'll just be like, maybe, you know, maybe I should go to church. Maybe I should reevaluate my life, you know?
You got something?
I agree with like the age thing, or just not having as much experience as someone else in like a certain area of life. So someone who has more experience than you might think, oh, they won't listen to me because I don't know as much as they do.
No, that's fine. I think a lot of times when we feel like that we don't have the ability to influence someone is not only our age, but I think sometimes we may feel intimidated by somebody. We feel like, you know, they're better than I am, or they're bigger than they're smarter than I am, so we feel sometimes intimidated, so we don't speak up when we need to. Or we don't, you know, we don't want to be an influencer. We don't want people to look at our lives. And so we feel intimidated by other people, which sometimes I think that, you know, is a reason why we can't influence other people. That's just my thought. So those of you who are on right now, write down, why do you think there are ways that we, you know, can influence? Somebody give me something that they've written back. Or you got it right there? Yeah. Who wrote it?
Sylvia said, how you view yourself can affect how you feel about influencing others.
Okay, good.
Layla, I'm really sorry, Vo? Okay. Maybe because anxiety, you know, and
just first name is good.
You know.
Layla, I saw you today on Instagram, so we know who you are.
And then Leela said they will like say we aren't worth it.
Oh, okay.
You know, like it's not worth our time, I guess.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good, y'all. I'm glad y'all are writing back and chatting back with us. And so it's really good. Are those the only ones so far? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Also, like our past, because I feel like everybody, you know, we all make mistakes every day. So I feel like we may look at our past and like try to judge ourselves, you know, like that. Well, I did this back in our past, so how can I, you know, like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's a really good thing. How can I influence someone because of what I've done and everything? So if you want to interject, just grab this microphone, okay? I'm just letting you know. Just if you just like grab the microphone from my hand. I'm just using it right now so they can hear me. Okay, all right. So no, but that's good though. Our past and what we've done. How can we influence somebody because of what I've done or what they've done or something like that? So yeah, that's good. That's good.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
To add on to that, what you've done, it feels like sometimes that can hold you back from being an influence, but sometimes that can make you an even more powerful influence. Because if you're going through that same thing that person you're trying to influence is going through, or if you've been through that thing, then it can just make them trust you. Even if it's just a little bit more, it makes them trust you and feel like, okay, I may not know this person, I might not be super close with them, but we've gone through something that's the same. And so maybe I can trust them, maybe I can, try to live a little bit more like them.
And when you build that connection with someone, you start a relationship, like you were saying, I think last week, that's when people start to trust you more, and then you can have a bigger influence on them because they build respect for you and they understand, okay, you actually understand where I'm coming from. You're not just saying you do,
It's a difference when someone says they've lost someone or they're going through something and you say, you got to be careful when you say, I know what you're going through. Because if you haven't gone through that, I know what you're feeling and everything. You don't know basically what that person's feeling because you haven't gone through that. But when you have gone through something and you tell someone, I know what you're feeling and everything, you're there not only to be an influence to them, you can help them say, I know how to make it through this. I know how to, because I went through the same thing. And people, like I said, people trust you. They understand, like, I'm not alone in this. Because a lot of times when we go through things, we feel like, I'm all by myself. I feel like I'm all by myself. No one else is going through this, but know that there are people that have gone through the same things you're going through. And basically that shows up to basically be your testimony of how God brought you through whatever it is that you're going through. So I think that's really good tonight. Do we have anybody online who's written something about what we've been talking about? No?
Y'all talk to us.
Yeah, y'all write on there. I mean, how do you think, how can, just interject throughout this whole thing as we're talking. And we'll make Caitlin answer here in just a few minutes. We'll pry the words out of her mouth. Because I think she's got some good things in her head. So she's just waiting to, explode right here and just talk. No, it's okay. I'm just messing. But, so, again, we're talking about the U effect during this whole month of the series in May. So make sure you watch every week, talking about influence, about being an influencer, and how you can be an influencer. So, but what I want to do, I want to change gears here just for a moment, and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to go around the circle and just ask you, due to the fact we're getting into May, which normally, if you were at school, you'd be getting ready for finals, seniors be getting ready to graduate, juniors getting ready to get out of their junior year, going to their senior year, getting excited about that, but you can't do that. You're all at home. You're all bored out of your mind. You're all doing whatever it is that you do when you're at home, whether it's play video games, eat, sleep, repeat, there you go, eat, sleep, work, whatever you're doing. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing. This year has totally been shot. But we still love you all, even though you're still out there in TV world, okay? And internet world. So, but I want to ask right now, I want to go around the circle and just tell me, though, y'all are about to graduate, you're still going to, but what school are you in right now? What school do you go to, basically?
I go to Tate High School.
Tate?
Pace High School.
Pace?
Pace.
I go to Milton.
Milton. Okay, so we've got different variety, Pace, Milton, and Tate. So how can you basically say, yes or no, basically that, every school is different? Pace is different than Milton. Tate is different from Pace. Your schools, there are different demographics and different people there and different varieties. But through your entire school year, let me ask this question. We'll start with the seniors first because you're all about to graduate. How has this year, I'm going to ask, how has this year been like for you guys? How has this year been, due to the fact of this whole, also, how have we felt like at the end of this school year has been with this COVID-19 thing? How has this been different for you guys? How has it made you feel going into your senior year, whether you're about to graduate? How does that make you feel going into this, since we've been in this COVID-19 thing? How does it make you feel? I mean, really, just be very honest with it.
I mean, it's hard because, they canceled a lot of things that seniors were looking for. And also, I
mean, basically, let me ask this question. Are you even getting a cap and gown at all?
Yeah, they said
Yes.
it's, just put into, June. They,
Really? You are going to...
we're still having, a walk, on stage. They just pushed it back.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. So you still get to walk, you still get to wear a cap and gown and everything, right?
Yeah, they had a vote where we wanted to do a virtual or a walk, and everybody said no to a virtual. So they pushed it back to, June.
Well, I mean, you spent 12 years in...
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I would want to walk, too, and get my diploma, too, as well. So yeah, I mean, it's been hard. It's different. I mean, it's not the way you pictured your senior year. I mean, it's just totally different. David, tell me, how does it make you feel going into your senior year? How did it make you feel,
To be honest, it really hasn't really affected me too much. I just say because, it's been giving me time to focus on myself, my connection with God, my family, my girl, and all that. So, I'm not really complaining about it.
David's good. David's good. I mean, granted, it's a good thing that he put God before his girl. So, I mean, that was really good. That was good, David. That was good. So, I mean, David hadn't even feel an effect at all. I mean, David's good, man. We're going to go over to David's house. Jeez, he's feeling good. So,
Peyton, if she's watching, I'm shouting you out. Peyton.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so let's go to the juniors here. You know, going into your senior year, ending your junior year, how has it been different for you, and how has it made you feel doing all this?
I'm not really worried about my senior. I mean, I know things will be different, but for me, it's more the end of this year that I was worried about, because I already have problems learning stuff. I can't teach myself. But honestly, my teachers have been amazing. You know, I emailed them. I let them know. I was like, hey, listen, guys, I work 5 days a week. You know, I'm not getting home till usually late at night because I work night shifts. And they all were like, listen, we understand. It's okay. You know, if you don't get your schoolwork turned in, it's yeah, I know.
So, like, if you, okay.
No, guys, this is the thing. The teachers hate it, okay? But if you don't turn in your work, they're just taking your other 3 quarter grades and averaging them together.
What?
So if you don't do any of your work,
that is so unfair, because I had to go through 12 years of turning in paperwork.
Life hacks with Tommy.
because my chorus teacher, Miss Burnett, she's not watching, but shout out. But she told me, she was like, hey, have you gotten any of your work done? I told her, I was like, nope. And she was like, well, whatever. And I was like, what do you mean whatever? I'm going to fail. And she was like, no, you won't. They're just going to average your other grades together.
That is like,
wait, what?
Shoot, that's like wrong.
Forget schoolwork.
Listen, I had to go through 12 years of turning in paperwork and everything like that, and now these people have the easy way out. Jeez.
And another life hack, they already sent out packets but if you did packets, they gave you all the answers on the packet.
Yeah, that's how mine, like,
Yeah.
my teachers, they'll send me online, it'll be like one file has without answers and one file with answers, and you can literally just look at it and turn it in with your answers.
So your parents can check it, but it's really so we
Oh
can.
my God, there ain't no parents checking that. You kidding me? Oh man, okay, Madison. Tommy just told it all, so how does it make you feel?
Well, I've been doing all my work like in 2 days. So
It's easy.
The overachiever here that's still
Well,
doing your work.
I kind of like the schedule that I'm on, because like I get up really early, I go ride my horse, then I do school, and then I go to work. You know, it's like a steady schedule. Woo!
Yeah, you work in public.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
It's good. But it is a little weird, because like next year I was planning on doing all dual enrollment, so I won't be going back to school. So it's weird, you know?
There's still hope.
I'm basically done, but not.
David's good, man. David's like, there's still hope. I love it. No, that's great. I mean, I had no idea that you could still just do your work and you got the answers right there in front of you. I mean, shoot.
Praise the Lord.
Yours don't do that?
Not all of my teachers. I only have like one teacher that does it. The rest is 2 easy classes though, so I don't have to worry about it.
Wow. That's, man, yo, that's easy
That's
though.
why I don't understand why. I mean, seniors, we can still have work, but like there was a thing on Facebook I saw that was like, why are seniors still doing work? And people were saying we're still learning, but I've talked to friends and they said their classes, like one of my friends had a math class and the answer was like 2 + 2.
Wow.
I was like, what are we learning then?
Yeah.
Sylvia said that they cannot give you any grade lower than your last report card grade. So as long as you passed, all your previous classes that last quarter, you're good. You're golden. You're going.
Regardless
to
whether
next
you
year.
do the work or not?
I get it.
Wow, that's like, man, that should be like permanent now. Because, I mean, that would be great. Like, whatever grade you get on your first report card, that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the year.
I mean, I have almost A's then. I had like 1 B.
Oh, so you're that honor roll student. You're that overachiever student.
So in short, social distance learning for at least another year. That way Tommy can leave.
That's crazy. No, that is crazy. So basically, from going around the circle, it hadn't really affected you, nor you, Nor you, nor you. David's great. I mean, David just totally he's like, it don't affect me at all.
I just saw that grad bash and like, I mean, prom we're still supposed to have. They said that's going to be like in June or something. They haven't gave us a date at all for prom, but they canceled the May one, and we're still supposed to have one is what they're saying. So,
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm hoping I still have prom because it's my senior prom. I wanted to have my last one.
Well, right. Yeah, I mean, there are things that you do in your senior year and in your junior year that there's like basically like prom, like the grad batch, the trips you go on and everything. All that now has been totally shot down, and you don't get to experience that senior year, that moment of, you know, this is the end of it. Let me have some fun, you know. Let me have some fun. I mean, granted, basically for all those who are out there that don't have to take the FCAT, you don't have to take it this year. You still pass. So if you're not good at taking tests, you passed as long as you have a good grade, you know, not an F. But is the mic cut out? Can y'all still hear me back there? Okay. Well, I know you can, but on the video, on the... Okay. Okay, cool, cool. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Here's another question. This is for juniors now. We're going to give you a junior question. How do you feel going into your senior year? And I think you've already answered that, but, you know, so in a nutshell, just in one word, how do you feel going into your senior year?
Relaxed.
Relax?
Good.
Okay. one word answer. So here we go. Okay. And this will be one that you have to think about. This is for juniors and seniors. But how do you think you have had influence on others this year? Or have others, you know, have influence on you, like your friends or your teachers that you do virtual, or coaches, or etc. So let's Tommy, let's start out with you. How do you think if you have had an influence on others this year, or have others had an influence on you this year?
I hope and pray that I've been a great influence. You know, you know, I just hope that I've been a really good influence, and I think I have. But you know, I know that being in like an extracurricular, like a sport, or you know, if you're in band, chorus, ride horses, is that a team thing? Ride horse team. Maybe, and you know, anything, you know, and I think that, and it's easier to be an influence in a non, what are they called? Like math, science, core class. You know, it's easier to be, it's easier to be influential in a elective or in like a team setting, you know, where you're all working together, because then you can. You know, the purpose of a team is to build each other up. So not only are you being influential, you can also be influenced, and you all work together for the better and to be better, you know?
I think this year I've really tried to or if I knew someone was going through a hard time, try to make that connection with them and share with them things that I have gone through, and showing them that, like, hey, it's okay, you can get through it, and look, like, just to think on the positive side of it, like, you know, God is letting you go through this because he's going to bring you something greater out of it. And I don't know, I always tell myself, you know, if what I'm going through right now or in the past, it might not benefit me personally, but I've seen it to where I can share it with other people, and I think it has really helped them and encouraged them. So.
Okay. How do you think you can influence on others this year, or have others have influence on you this year, going out of your senior year? Our seniors are tongue-tied. They don't know what to say because they haven't gone to school. So, no, I mean, just think, in your family, though. If you had an influence, you know, if somebody made in your family and had an influence on you this year, or has someone in your family made an influence on you this year?
I mean, I guess my cousin. I've been hanging out with her more recently.
Really?
And she's just like, she like lifts you up. Like,
So she's had an influence on you. Have you made an influence on someone else that you may have been seeing, or has it really been your cousin?
I don't.
I don't know. Okay, no, that's cool. This is very natural. I just want it to be just like this. David, do you?
Yeah. It was a guy I met. His name was Daniel, and he was having like a hard time. He was always getting in trouble and all that, and like he didn't know the Lord or anything like that. So basically, like the Lord used me and like my story to help him and basically plant that seed. And it was kind of strange because it was like as soon as I helped him the next day, like he had gotten into some stuff, and then I never seen him again. But it was like the fact that I was able in the time that I was with him to help him and tell him the stuff I was able to tell him and stuff like that. I could really tell like he took into it. Because at first when I told him, he told me like he thought it was complete bull crap. And then his brother died that same week. He was like, bro, I thought you was just playing. And then him losing his brother, like God used that to open his eyes. So it's the little stuff like that when nobody wanted to listen to him, just me, like come sitting with him and talk to him went a long way. So I figure, that's how God used me to help influence somebody else.
Yeah, I mean that's a big deal. Sometimes, like Madison said, we go through certain things because God's using what we're going through to help somebody else, to help, whoever we're coming in contact. God knows what's out in front of us. God knows who we're going to meet. What's going to be coming up, who we're going to be in contact with. I mean, he knows all that. So, we can be an influencer in so many different ways, and then there's so many people who can be influencers in our lives. I mean, personally, I think of this, and we can go around the room, but I think the one person that's been the most influential in my life, who has influenced my life, has to be, basically, probably a lot of people will say that, but really, my dad. My dad has influenced my life. He's pushed me to certain limits where it's like, can I even go that far? And he's pushed me and he's influenced my life and talked into me and taught me and everything. So I think really basically I would say that my dad has really influenced my life. So is there somebody that personally who has really influenced your life throughout your entire life? Not just this year, but your entire life. Someone answer that.
I want to answer that, but it's not like a person or something. Like, I mean, people have like influenced me, but I feel like what influenced me the most is the setbacks and like, the haters and all that. Because, to me, like that pushes me, like when somebody tells you can't do anything and you want to prove them wrong, like that's my influence.
Okay, well then not a person, but something like that. So that's cool. So anybody else?
There's no one like my whole life, but I moved to Florida like 6-7 years ago. It's been a while, but honestly, if I had, it'd be you. You've been a real influence on my life.
I feel very special right now.
I mean, because I grew up with you in kids' church. You were my kids' church pastor, and now I'm in youth. I'm on student council, and you've just been a real influence over my life.
Yeah. Shoot, we could walk off this set right now. I don't even know what to say. Jeez. You don't know? Caitlin?
I'd say my mom.
Your mom? Well, how about your horse? I mean, your horse can't talk back or anything like that. You influence your horse, right? By telling it to stop. So, No. I was just messing. I don't know. That's the first thing that popped into my head. So it was her horse. So, So, what?
We've got some comments.
Yeah,
so,
what's up?
Sylvia said that her dad influenced her,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Lewis, Sylvia's brother, said his parents, Skylar, my parents,
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have, their parents and everything like that. But I love some, like, what y'all said, and basically what David said, that it wasn't actually a person, but it was people outside, the haters and everything that pushes me, to be an influence. I like that. I really do. So here we go. I got some other questions. This is fun. We're just being off the cuff. And if you have a prayer request in the middle of all this, please send it in. Again, if you just clicked on, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, type your name in so we can draw your name at the end. So make sure you put that in there. Don't put your username if it's a weird name, because we don't know who you are. So we want to know who you are. Dragon Slayer. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to make that my username. I think I'm going to make that my username. From now on, it's going to be Dragon Slayer, because that's the only word I can think of somebody's username. Yes. It could be like the Hobbit and like the Dragon Slayer.
Like a suit of armor, and you can use the BGMC sword.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna do that. So be looking for that in the near future. Dragon Slayer will be there, and you'll know it's me. So
Dragon Slayer 2021.
Yes, that will be my new profile picture. Everybody's gonna be like, God, he's gone like to the dark side of the force. Yeah, so jeez, Dragon Slayer. Okay, all right. This is a cool one. We'll go with seniors. Okay, here we go. If you could go back this year, what would you change? Besides the COVID-19 and the coronavirus, I mean, what is something, if you could go back this year, and even not even thinking your senior year, but like go back in your whole high school year, if there's one thing that you could change, and I'm going to come to y'all, so y'all be thinking, what would you change out of your entire high school year?
Probably go to school more, because I miss so much school.
So you were that kid who slacked. Oh, that's who you were. You're the one who like left.
Relatable.
I did check out a lot and stuff. I just didn't like school, but like now that I think about it, I could go back just because the experience of high school.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I didn't really like the school I went to. I guess I didn't have much. Like, I don't know.
No. I mean, just
but
be.
Like, I don't know. I'd just go back for the experience, to have more high school experience and the fun that happened.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I went to pep rallies, but this past year I didn't really go to much. Like, 'cause it was my senior year, so I was like, it's gonna be easy. I don't want to have to go to all this. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, I should have went to pep rallies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's. I can tell you personally, Miss Lauren said that. Like, her whole high school year was like, if she could do it over again, she would, because it's the experience deal. It's just. Yeah. Yeah. David, what would you change, man?
Honestly, I would just say I wish I would have did track earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're the guy who won't eat anything because you do track. So.
Could never be me.
So so you would have done track earlier. Now, when did you start track? Like, really? Oh man, so you didn't get to do really anything this year. That was it? Man. I'll tell you personally, honestly, when I lived back in Destin when I was in high school or middle school, everybody thought I should have done track. And I decided I don't want to run. So I can run and everything, but I really just didn't feel like going through all that. Now, Lauren did track, and she blew out her knee. She did like one meet and then blew out her knee, and then she was done for the whole rest of the year. She's back there. Actually, to tell all of you who are watching, she's back there in the back, so she can't hit me. That's why I'm saying this on the platform now. So.
But she did say shut up.
Yeah, she did. She did say shut up. So, yeah. Hey, now, no. Please state no. Do not. You're throwing it at Madison. Okay, so just sit back there. I appreciate that. My Dragon Slayer sword. There you go. All right, so out of y'all, I know you're about to go into your senior year, but think back in your junior, freshman, sophomore year. If there's one thing that you could change, what would it be? Here, what would you change?
I think in the beginning I would have tried to make more friends, or like put more time aside to spend with people, because I'm like very busy with horseback riding, school, and work, so it's like I don't really have a lot of time to just spend with friends. So now I don't have a lot of friends.
I'll be your friend.
Okay, thank you.
If I could change one thing, I don't know. My high school career has been pretty okay. I mean, if I could change one thing, I would just, we all have bad days, and I've had bad days, and I've been mean to some people.
I cannot see you being mean, dude, at all.
Well, it's not like mean, like just like, I would like say get out of my way, but not like in a mean way. Just like, can you like get out of the way, Just like and I've had bad days, and we've all been there, and we've all had a little bit of an attitude, and I feel like I would have, if I could change one thing, just like wake up, even if I woke up in a bad mood, just realize like, hey, listen, you're gonna get through this day, you're gonna get through all these days, and it's gonna be worth it in the end, because now I'm like almost a senior, and I'm excited for next year,
Yeah. So all of you who are on right now, chat back with us. If there's one thing that you could change this year, because I really love to hear some of your answers, what would it be? Now, basically, I'll tell you, y'all who go to school, I didn't go to a high school my whole high school year, except my 11th grade. I was homeschooled for my 9th grade year, my 10th grade year, went to Pace High School for my 11th grade year, and then went back to homeschool for my 12th grade. So... What? I was everywhere. Well, the reason is because I moved. In my 11th grade year, I moved here when my parents became the pastor of the church. So I would tell you, going to a new school where everyone knows everybody from freshman year, their middle school to freshman year and everything, and you stepping in your 11th grade year, that's very hard. That's very hard. I mean, when I think about it and I hear people's stories about their great years in high school, sometimes I wish I would have went to high school. But then again, there were things that I went through in my life with my dad being the pastor of the church where my whole focus was right here. Like, I was able to have a job and earn money in my freshman year. So I was like, I know freshmen can't do that. So I was like, do I really want to go to school, or can I do school right here and then go to work and earn some money to have? So I mean, it was kind of like, do you want money, or do you want to go and experience the whole, day of school? So it was kind of, for me, that was different for me. It's not that way for everybody, but
Okay, so Leela said I would change the time I have to wake up for school. Amen.
Y'all don't have to go to school till like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's like really early.
That's really late.
I work night shifts, so I'm on the night schedule. I'm just. Layla said I would try to be more confident. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Colton said having to go in lockdown twice. Because, he goes to the middle school right down my road, and they have had to go into lockdown quite a few times.
Wow.
There was a gunshot thing, and then I don't know what the other one was.
Holy cow.
Someone on campus, I think. There was someone on campus. Yeah.
Wow.
And then Skylar said her amount of focus on her grades, she never really cared about them. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Sylvia, not getting close to God until the beginning of sophomore year.
Yeah, I can tell you there are a lot of people that I've seen on Instagram, on like the Ignite Instagram, that I was like, what are you doing right now as you're just being at home and everything? And a lot of people are saying, I'm reading my Bible more, or getting closer to God. And I'm like, this is the time that you need to do that. You have this all free time. A lot of times when we say, we come to church and we do our thing and we're saying, try to find that one time to spend with God. Try to find that one time, and you're like, well, I don't have time. I have sport or dance or horseback, right? And all this stuff like that. I'm not throwing off on you. I'm just using that as an example. And then we say we don't have time, but now we have all this time. So why not why not do the things to get closer to God? Why not do this time? So I really do think it's a great thing for this year. So seniors leaving, if you could do one thing differently, well, I think we already said this. One different thing in your high school year, what would it be? but I think you've basically already said that. Okay, here's another one, though, for seniors. Here we go, and then we're going to get off here in just a minute. We're going to pray. So send in your prayer request, write your name down. Here we go. So you have to talk a lot right now to make up for the times you didn't talk. So we're about to get off. So no, it's okay. I'm just messing. They're up here. I don't see them all the time now on Wednesdays, so I have to mess with them as much as possible. I mean, I threw off on Madison because of her horseback riding. She influences her horse. Well, I mean, Tommy works at McDonald's. He influences his burgers. I mean, oh, so you influence your subs because you work in Firehouse. David, where do you work? David doesn't work. David's good, so.
You work with Lydia?
You work with Lydia.
Oh, that's cool.
Nikki in the back loves Firehouse for some reason, so.
McDonald's
there,
touches no one's soul.
I work like every day.
Tommy's insulted because he works at McDonald's, so, you know.
But I get it. McDonald's. And cookies. Okay, that's not bad because we've had people come through and order like 10 double cheeseburgers and like 6 medium fries, and they're alone in the car. And you're like, I don't know if that's all for.
That's Anthony. That's Anthony. That's who's doing that. Okay, here we go. Here's the question. I'm sorry, Lauren's telling me to be quiet. All right. Okay, for seniors leaving, if you could give one piece of advice to others in high school right now, if there was one thing that you could give an advice to everyone who's watching and to our juniors over here right now, what would it be? What would be one piece of advice that you would give? Since you've gone through your high school year, you're leaving now, what's one thing that you would share?
Spend your time wisely.
Okay, it's just whatever your advice is. You went through it.
Like I said, I didn't go to pep rallies as much. Like, do that for the experience you want to have.
So spend your time wisely.
I don't mean like get involved more. Like didn't know how to say it. He put the words. Okay, he gave me the words. But yeah, like I wanted to try out for track and I never did it. There were some other things I want to do, but I just never did them. So, just try out. Do stuff you want to do.
Okay. All right, David.
Mine would have to be it's a Bible verse. I don't know which one it is, but it's be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. I have to say that. Just those 3 right there. They will save you so much trouble and just I don't know. It'll help you out a lot. It did with me when I learned it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So what is it again? Slow to speak, slow to anger, and quick to listen. I mean, granted, you know, it's always good, like when you go through things that we've been talking about, to just sometimes you don't need to say anything to try to fix anything. You just need to be a good listener. You just need to sit down and let people just talk to you, and instead of you trying to fix everything, just listen. Just listen to what they have to say and everything, and don't let things, whether it's in school or even outside of school and everywhere you go, just don't let things, just the little things, put you right on the edge, you know, that make you so angry just by just something little. You know, let that just look at what's basically a priority in your life, you know.
I was gonna say like the drama, because that's what high school. There's so much drama. Just ignore it.
I was waiting for somebody to say that. So.
I was gonna say, it's just not worth your time. It's pointless drama.
It's James 1:19.
Say it in the microphone so that everybody can hear it.
It's James 1:19. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. And look it out, check it out.
It's good. It's good. It was good. I'm hoping all of you are watching this and listening to this because I mean these are great. You know, for that. Okay, and this is the last one. This is for everybody. Here we go. What are you looking forward to in your life right now? Well, okay, let me go back. Let me ask you guys, where are you planning, or are you, or going into, what are you planning on, are you planning on going to college? Yeah? What have you thought about what you want to do?
Business.
business? Like, okay, like when you say business, are you like constructing or like what do you feel like you want to do?
I want to do like marketing, so like
Okay.
learn how to do sales and stuff, because I want to have my own brand one day. That's what I mainly want to strive for. So
Oh, awesome. Okay, you're going to college, and so what have you thought about your profession wants to be?
Nursing.
Nursing. Like, okay, what type of nurse? Like, because I know one time Taylor Pocapan, says she's going for like heart nursing, like whatever that is called, whatever that's called. Yes, cardiologist. There we go. That's the only thing the first thing that came to my heart. So she's going for a cardiologist.
Heart
So
nurse.
what type of nursing do you want to do? Or just,
I kind of just want to do like like a registered nurse. I don't know. I want to do like ultrasounds and stuff. That's what I've been thinking about. I don't know what doctor that's called that does that, but.
A radiologist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
that's
does that.
radiology, taking the pictures and everything.
Okay.
Cool. So, okay. So, what are you looking for in your life right now? Besides going to college, what are you looking for in your life right now? Someone can just answer. This is like for everybody. So, yeah. What are you looking forward to in your life right now at this moment?
To get even closer to God.
Okay. Y'all have nothing? Wow, that was great. Caitlin is the only one that answered. So,
I guess like going into senior year, I don't know. I've been looking forward to senior year, like, since I can remember,
yeah.
So like, because you're always excited, like it's your last year, even when you can't fully, like, because, I used to be like, oh, it's just senior year, blah, blah, blah. But now I realize like I'm going to be that much closer to being an adult, like with my birthday coming up, like 1 year away from like everything, and it just like it kind of hits you like this is like my last summer.
Yeah.
Like right now, this is my last summer to like do everything, have fun. I
Yeah.
guess. So I guess I'm looking forward to this summer.
It really starts when you graduate high school.
I don't want to talk
Life starts.
I don't want to talk about
Life
it.
begins.
That sounds great.
It's like the
but right
Tangled
now-
song. When will my life begin? Okay, all right, I'm not going to sing. All right. Madison, what are you looking forward to? Or David, what are you looking forward to? I mean, in your life right now?
Well, this business that I'm trying to do, I'm just selling like shoes and clothes and stuff. Like I'm getting it from like overseas plug. So I'm just trying to focus on that, get that. It's got to start from somewhere.
Right, yeah. You want another horse, don't you? That's what you're looking forward to, right?
Well, I'm looking forward to only going to school 2 days next year.
Oh, wow.
2 days a week. But the horse is actually injured, and that's going to be like... It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. But I have to rehab her for like 6 months, so getting to ride her again would be nice. Thank you. Yes.
David said we can pray for a horse tonight. That's going to be on the prayer request list. Madison's horse.
Okay, so we've got some people commenting.
Okay, yeah, what?
Lewis said that he is ready to finish school and go to the military. And Gabby said starting high school. It's fun most of the time.
Most of the time. God, you're going to scare her now. Like
Stay with Jesus.
David said pros and cons, so that was good. These are great. Do we have any prayer requests back there, guys? Okay. You do have them too? Okay. Then tell me the YouTube ones so we can
Okay, so
I'll get the ones from Nikki.
wait. Let me get to the first one. Okay, so we have sorry guys. Okay. For Skylar for her finals, and I think that goes for everyone, like just because, well, I guess not everyone because we don't all have finals this year. But yeah, I guess for just any they canceled y'all's test. Seniors don't have to take.
Yeah, because we still, like, I have an assignment that's due, like, May 27th, and I'm when we graduate. We're supposed to graduate May 23rd.
Why would I have an
so
assignment after, you know?
after we're already supposed to grade.
But and then we have okay, so a prayer request for all the nurses and teachers.
Yeah.
The money to pay bills.
Yeah.
And their, you know, for their families. We have to keep up schoolwork and for the medical field and teachers and for strength. And Heather, her sister just got out of the hospital.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Heaven Brander said for the fire, it's 5 miles away from her house right now. So.
Yeah, I live on Avalon. I live like close, but you know, traffic. It was a hard getting here today. You know, I had to because the interstate, they're all running through East Milton, and it's. Whew.
Yeah, no, that's really good. So those one we've got. Listen, if you've got a prayer request throughout the week, you can send it in because we'll be praying over them. Me and Miss Lauren will. So what I want to do right now is, hey Tommy, would you mind praying to start? I'll start out the prayer, and then you just jump in and then pray for the rest, and then I'll end it on out. Is that cool? That's cool. All right, let's pray tonight. God, we thank you, dear Jesus, Lord. We thank you for every student that's watching and every student that's here. Lord, I ask that you would give everybody strength right now throughout the rest of this year, and, you know, whether they're graduating or whether they're going into their senior year or whatever it is, Lord, I ask that you would be with them, give them strength. Trust the nurses and the doctors and everyone that's out there, Lord, for Heaven right now, for the fire that's 5 miles away from her house right now. Lord, I ask that you would strengthen her. I ask you would be there right here, be her comfort, be right there in that room where she's at, dear Lord. Let no danger come to her or her house or her family, dear Lord. Protect her and guard her from every situation. We thank you for that. We thank you for that.
Lord Jesus, today we're praying for everyone in the medical field, Mr. David, Miss Angie. Lord, we're praying for all of them. We're praying for everyone's family, Lord. Sylvia, Lewis, Colton, we're praying for you guys. Skylar, we're praying for you, and just everyone to keep up strength, because we know that this can be a hard time. We know that it's affecting everyone, you know, whether it's, you know, you might have a sick family member, or maybe you just feel like you're in a dark place, and maybe you just feel like there's no way to get out. But guys, we're here for you, okay? We love you, and we are praying for you. In Jesus' name, Lord, I ask that you just touch every single heart of not only the ones that are watching and listening right now, but, Lord, you know the ones that need you, the ones that need to just feel your touch and your love, Lord. Jesus. Lord, wherever they are, whether they're in a place they shouldn't be or whether they're sitting at home watching this right now, Jesus, I ask that you go and touch their heart and touch their mind and cleanse their soul. Jesus.
We thank you, dear God, for all that. We thank you that you hear us when we pray, and you're always there with us. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. I will tell you, going back to this, the one thing I'm looking forward to in my life is coming back to service. Coming back to service. I'm ready to fill this room up with all you guys out there for you to be back in service. I know for a fact, though, Pastor has announced downstairs that we are going to have Sunday morning services. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Sunday morning services starting the Sunday after Mother's Day, which I believe is the 17th. We'll have 2 services on the 17th from 8 to 9:30, and then the 10 o'clock service, so you can come to either one of those. And if you come, you're going to get a special gift. If you're in Ignite, you're going to get a special gift from me to you. So you can come to one of those 2 services. If you don't want to get up early, you can come to the 10 o'clock service. So, no, go ahead, say it.
Y'all better be ready for when we come back to Ignite, because me, everyone else, we're Spirit-filled. We've been waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting for this one. Yeah, I mean,
it's good.
We're going to put like a wall up, but for your protection. Because Miss Nikki, Lord help us. Lord help us, because she's been praying. Whew.
So it's going to be good. That's really what I'm looking forward to. But before we get off, because we'll do this, where's that bucket? Let me have that bucket up there, because we're going to draw some names tonight to see who gets the pizza. Instagram I think went off, so. What are you going? Are you going to draw the names, or you want me? Okay, who wants to draw? Yeah, who wants to draw a first name? You want to draw the first name? Okay, go ahead, draw the first name, and then you got to say who it is. All right. So the first winner for the first pizza tonight is, who is it?
Hope.
Huh? Hope. 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 Congrats, you get the free pizza. Make sure you email me or Miss Lauren or text us and let us know what type you want. Okay, who wants to draw the next one? All right, Madison. All right, who's our second lucky winner? It is
Caden Pokapani.
Caden Pokapani. Your brother won 2 weeks ago. That's crazy. You feel very bold?
I would like a new bucket, please. Can we get a new bucket? But only my name.
You want to draw? It don't matter. All right, who is it, David? Paige Henderson. Y'all know Paige. You won. You get a. Is she still watching? Is she still on there? Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you want to do 4 since we have four panels up here? We can do it. Here, let's look. We're gonna draw one more since we have 4. We're very generous. We were gonna do 3, but now we're gonna do 4. So Tommy, draw the last one. You can draw the last one, Tommy. All right. Who's the winner? Who's the last winner, Tommy?
Lewis.
Lewis. All right. You won the pizza. So all the winners, make sure you get with Miss Lauren or get with me or Instagram us or everything like that so we know what type of pizza you want. So you will get the free pizza. Thanks, guys, for watching. We love you guys. We'll be on Zoom tomorrow at 2:30. We want to see all your lovely faces on there. So if you need the ID number, text us, email us, whatever you want to do. So we love you guys. Peace out. Goodbye.